Stop being background music in her life. Learn the single move that makes her chase you. You're doing the opposite of attraction when you give your attention without price. Instant replies, constant availability, excessive explanations. These actions flatten desire. Value isn't created by abundance, it's created by scarcity. When everything is served on demand, the mind marks it as ordinary. Rarity, on the other hand, forces the brain to notice. Withdraw what you give freely and watch attention rewire itself. You don't need drama to create distance. Pulling back is not punishment, it's recalibration. Pull back from noise, not from respect. Make your time and energy selective. Show up with purpose, not obligation. Let your presence be a choice you make, not a default habit. When your presence becomes a decision, it gains weight. People work harder for what feels earned. This isn't a trick or a performance. It's a habit of self-respect. When you stop selling your peace for validation, you stop measuring your worth by response times. You become someone whose approval is meaningful. That shift alone elevates how others prioritize you. They begin to assess value through effort required. And effort breeds emotional investment. Silence will not destroy a connection if your silence has integrity. If your withdrawal hides insecurity, she senses it. If it grows from a life full of mission, it attracts. Carry activities that matter. Own your calendar. Let your absence be an outcome of a life that matters. When you live deliberately, your unavailability reads as authenticity, not ego. Authentic absence teaches her you are not empty without her. Stop explaining every pause. Explanations cheapen boundaries. You don't owe constant commentary. Let moments speak. Let quiet moments carry meaning. If she wonders, that's progress. Wonder fuels curiosity. Curiosity builds attention. Attention turns to thought. Thought accumulates into emotional currency. Emotional currency buys attachment. Boundaries are not withdrawal, they are wiring. Draw your lines calmly. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Defend your mornings, your workouts, your work. Your calendar is a declaration of standards. People respond to standards. They respect what resists easy consumption. Make it clear through action, not argument, what you prioritize. Teach her to earn you by matching action with measured reward. When she invests, acknowledge it with presence proportional to effort. Reciprocity should feel earned, not automatic. Reward pursuit with clarity, warmth, and measured availability. Those small calibrations turn chasing into choosing. The man who mirrors effort invites balance, not manipulation. You will face tests. She will pull and push to see whether your new rhythm is real. Stay steady. Tests are data, not crises. They reveal patterns. Respond with the same unwavering calm you institutionalized. Overreacting signals insecurity. Unmoved presence signals maturity. Maturity becomes magnetic. Shift your identity from seeker to selector. Build habits that don't require explanation. Grow hobbies, friendships, and objectives that make space for someone worthy. When you're completing your life instead of completing her, your attention becomes currency. Spend it wisely. Make her earn your currency. That's where desire is forged. This is not cruelty. It's clarity. You withhold what is cheap so you can offer what is rare. In doing so, you teach others how to value you. That lesson is simple. When something must be earned, it is cherished. Period. You were once predictable. You answered every call, agreed to every plan, and your rhythm was known. Predictability breeds comfort, and comfort kills heat. Turn routine into mystery. Change tempo. Let your moves surprise rhythm, not by drama but by design. When you vary availability, you stop being background and start being presence. Make your responses intentional. Don't reply because a ping demands it. Reply because your time aligns with your values. Silence becomes a tool when it's chosen. The moment your behavior is consistent with purpose, unpredictability stops feeling manipulative and starts feeling magnetic. Create patterns she must learn. Show up intentionally and then withdraw thoughtfully. Habitual abundance dulls attention. Strategic absence sharpens it. Small changes compound. An answer an hour later, a planned night out instead of a last-minute meet, a conversation reserved for a proper place. These are tiny recalibrations that alter perception. Be the man who owns his schedule. Schedule your life so you rarely fit someone in. That doesn't mean you exclude people. It means you structure your priorities. A full calendar signals value. When your time costs something, it becomes precious. People respect a life that isn't malleable to the first notification. Swap availability for attraction. Don't give access as default. Present access as earned. That switch forces emotional investment. She asks herself why you were absent. She fills the silence with thoughts about you. Those thoughts are the currency of desire. Guide the economy, don't spend impulsively. Deliver contrast. Contrast is the engine of feeling. Be warm when it matters, distant when it tests. Be humorous in company, reserved in text. Be engaged in person, less performative in replies. The contrast keeps focus. The brain notices differences more than sameness. Become a pattern she can't predict, and you become a problem she wants to solve. Guard your internal state. If unpredictability stems from chaos, it repels. If it comes from calm, it attracts. Cultivate composure. Let your variability be a reflection of intention, not mood. Emotional steadiness paired with varied behavior is the rarest combination. Stop over-explaining choices. The need to justify availability exposes scarcity thinking. A simple boundary stands stronger than a long apology. Clarity beats chatter. When you explain less, you reveal more strength. People listen to conviction, not excuses. Use absence to amplify presence. Moments away intensify moments together. Make shared time memorable. Bring focus, presence, laughter, and clarity when you return. Make your interactions feel like an event, not a routine. When you make presence count, she remembers it differently. Teach her to work for attention through quality, not tests. Let effort be meaningful. Reward curiosity with genuine engagement. Reward persistence with warmth, not neediness. Convert pursuit into partnership by matching quality with consequence. This isn't a blueprint for manipulation. It's a map for dignity. The man who becomes less available becomes more compelling because he communicates self-possession. Predictability is safe. Unpredictability is alive. Be alive. Maintain boundaries while staying generous when it counts. This balance makes you scarce and sincere. Scarcity without warmth is hollow. Warmth without scarcity is forgettable. Combine both and you become unforgettable, not because you played a game but because you became worth chasing. Every single day. This is not about playing childish games. It's about holding your nerve and choosing silence over scramble. Stop pretending that cold tactics equal strength. Strength shows when you don't react to every emotional ping. Hold the line with dignity. Be clear inside before you show it outside. If your distance masks panic, she'll read it immediately. If your distance comes from conviction, she feels the difference. Root your behavior in real priority so your restraint is believable and immutable. Restraint doesn't come from hiding emotions. It comes from managing them. You can feel strongly and still act with purpose. Feeling is data, action is choice. Make your responses deliberate instead of reflexive. That clarity changes the game. Cut the apologetic explanations. Saying too much signals insecurity. A short, honest reply is stronger than a long defense. Speak less so that what you say lands harder. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Let brevity be your strength. Show compassion without collapsing. You can be kind without losing structure. Offer understanding, then return to your rhythm. Support doesn't mean surrender. Reserve empathy for when it builds connection, not when it feeds drama. Don't confuse patience with passivity. Patience is active control. Passivity is avoidance dressed in silence. Work on yourself while remaining calm. Let your life supply context for your choices so absence is read as purpose, not avoidance. Use boundaries as statements of identity. Boundaries aren't ultimatums. They're declarations about who you are and how you live. Communicate them once, confidently, and then let your actions reinforce them. Repetition of the message is less persuasive than consistency of behavior. Restraint requires a backbone. When provoked, choose the higher road. De-escalate arguments with measured calm. Walk away from bait without drama. The man who can lower the temperature holds power because he prioritizes clarity over chaos. Practice selective generosity. Give attention where it matters and refuse it where it doesn't. Generosity focused on growth and reciprocity builds trust. Generosity spread thin builds expectation. Be generous where it counts and disciplined elsewhere. Keep your word. Integrity is the spine of restraint. If you say you'll be somewhere, go. If you promise something, deliver. Reliability undergirds detachment. She's more likely to respect silence coming from someone who does what he says. Accept discomfort. Restraint often feels awkward at first. People will react. You'll want to fill silence. Resist that urge. The discomfort is the training ground for a stronger identity. Sit with it and let your presence mature. Let actions carry the weight of your values. Show up in meaningful ways and step back where necessary. The rhythm of measured giving and steady withdrawal becomes a pattern she can trust and desire. Over time, your discipline turns into magnetic stability. This is not manipulation. It's refinement. You're not trying to bend someone to you, you're refining how you move through relationships. Be honest, be steady, and let restraint be the quiet proof of who you have become. Mastery of restraint is not earned in one moment but in repeated, small choices. Keep practicing the pause, refine your standards, and watch how calm consistency rewires attraction into respect and deep connection that lasts beyond surface desire. Daily. Loss is a trigger. Remove a little of what she's used to and watch actions replace complacency. When attention is constant, it becomes background. When it costs, it demands thought. Create gentle scarcity so her effort rises naturally. This is not punishment. It's a mechanism. You withhold not to wound, but to reveal priorities. A brief absence reveals patterns she took for granted. That revelation forces assessment. She asks herself questions she didn't ask when everything was easy. Make absence intentional. Schedule time away for meaningful reasons. Let your life require focus. When you step back for real obligations, your unreachability reads as authenticity. Authentic absence carries context. Context prevents games and invites respect. Loss creates urgency. People move faster to recover what they value. Small windows of unavailability prompt big responses. She texts with sharper words, she reaches deeper in conversations, she invests beyond surface gestures. Urgency converts distraction into pursuit. Use this leverage honestly. Don't manufacture crises. Rather, prioritize things that matter: projects, family, growth. Those priorities justify your distance. They also show that your attention is finite and worth working for. Finite attention becomes an invitation to invest. Avoid extremes. Total disappearance signals manipulation or instability. Tiny, consistent gaps show boundaries. A pause at the end of a night, a quiet morning, a withheld quick reply. These micro-absences build a new rhythm. Rhythm creates suspense. Suspense creates attention. Watch her response as data, not drama. She doubles down, she values you. If she retreats, she wasn't aligned. Both outcomes are clarity. The point is to reveal truth, not to play a victory lap. Let her choices inform yours. When she senses loss, she remembers details otherwise forgotten. She replays moments, looks for meaning, reevaluates what you provided. Memory strengthens desire when scarcity primes it. Small acts you performed become larger in her mind because they're harder to access now. Balance firmness with warmth. Be steady in boundary and accessible in value. When you return, show quality presence. Be engaged, attentive, and real. Displaying calm appreciation validates her effort without lowering standards. Presence rewarded should feel like recognition, not relief. Expect test. Humans test attachments under change. She will probe to see if your absence equals indifference or strength. Answer with composed consistency. Tests are not calls to panic. They are opportunities to demonstrate that your life is whole without surrendering kindness. Measure scarcity by usefulness, not drama. Remove minutes that mean nothing and protect minutes that matter. Let her earn meaningful access, not trivial confirmations. Make sure the work she does lands on substance, not on hollow metrics like instant replies or empty compliments. Finally, remember the ethics. Influence is not manipulation when it's rooted in integrity. You are changing patterns so both of you can see what matters. Loss, when applied with honesty, clarifies desire and aligns effort. Use it to surface reality, not to manufacture dependency. This strategy is a test of character more than a tactic. It asks you to value yourself first and the relationship second. When practiced with respect, scarcity creates clarity. Clarity breeds intention. Intention builds lasting connection. Keep standards high but compassion present. That's how real attraction sustains itself over time. Consistently. Attraction runs on a rhythm. Give too much and the beat dies. Withhold everything and you become cold. The trick is a steady tempo. Give, pull back, then give again, each move intentional. This creates a loop she learns to follow. A predictable cadence becomes seductive because it trains her to act. Match effort, don't outpace it. When she leans in, meet her halfway. When she reaches, respond with measured warmth. If she withdraws, resist the urge to overcorrect. Matching keeps balance. Overcompensating signals need. Let her show you where the energy lies, then mirror back the amount that honors both of you. Turn pursuit into earned access. Make emotional openings contingent on genuine steps. Vulnerability should be a reward, not a freebie. Let intimacy be the outcome of demonstration, not a default. This breeds respect. It forces intention. It ensures that what she gives is meaningful to both parties. Make your rewards clear and proportionate. Small acts deserve small returns. Big commitment deserves presence and depth. Don't inflate responses to minor tests. Give significance where significance is earned. This trains behavior without lectures. It teaches her how you value time and trust. Avoid generosity that fixes instability. Don't soothe neediness with endless attention. That's a subscription to chaos. Instead, respond to growth. Compliment courage, not insecurity. Support progress, not reaction. Reward resilience more than apologies. This shapes healthier patterns and strengthens attraction in a durable way. Be deliberate with your emotional currency. Treat attention like coin. Spend it where it compounds. Invest in moments that build narrative, shared adventures, hard conversations handled well, memories that require presence. Don't splurge on low-value signals like constant texting or performance. Reserve depth for what moves the relationship forward. When she proves consistency, escalate slowly. Increase time together, deepen conversations, share responsibilities. Let commitment grow like a ladder, one solid rung at a time. Rapid leaps collapse under pressure. Slow, deliberate ascent builds trust that lasts. This is how fleeting interest becomes steady devotion. Set boundaries that clarify expectations. Clear limits reduce drama. They show you're serious about standards and not easily swayed. Enforcement of boundaries need not be dramatic. Consistency does the work. When a line is crossed, respond in a way that preserves dignity and communicates consequence. Celebrate earned moments. When she shows up, show appreciation that reinforces effort. Make gratitude specific. A genuine acknowledgement of her choice to invest compounds attachment. Recognition signals that her work matters and that gaining access to you is not trivial. Do not confuse reciprocity with tit for tat. This is not a ledger to be balanced in public. Reciprocity is an ongoing pattern of mutual care. The man who gives proportionally without scorekeeping creates safety and fairness at once. Finally, keep your mission loud. Your life is the backdrop. If your purpose dims, so does the rhythm. Maintain goals, friendships, disciplines. A life lived fully sets the pace and makes your patterns believable. That steadiness turns rhythmic giving into a sustainable, magnetic practice. This approach is ethical and requires patience. It's not manipulation, it's calibration. Play the long game. Build a pattern that attracts depth, not drama. Over months, not minutes, you will transform fleeting chemistry into something that endures and keeps standards firm. Make her mind work for you. When you stop spelling everything out, her head starts filling the blanks. That mental space becomes yours. Imagination is a force multiplier. It turns small details into stories and stories into meaning. Let the silence invite interpretation. People romanticize what they don't fully know. When you leave blanks, she writes scenes where you look better. She rewrites ordinary moments into significance. Those internal narratives attach her to the idea of you more than any explanation ever could. Emotion grows in the dark. Create hints, not blueprints. Drop a line that means more than it says. Leave a glance that sparks curiosity. Offer glimpses of depth but keep the full map private. Let her assemble the puzzle on her own. The work she does builds value. Avoid intentional deception. Mystery isn't manipulation. It's a restraint that reveals rather than fabricates character. Don't invent drama to seem unavailable. Live a life worth wondering about. Authentic gaps invite devotion. Fake gaps invite distrust. Use memory as leverage. Shared moments act like anchors in her mind. Make them distinct. Choose experiences that stand out. A skillful answer, a quiet laugh, a focused afternoon together. Those moments expand in memory when they're rarer. Rarity stretches emotional value. Trigger curiosity with contrast. Be open and warm when you engage. Be composed and private otherwise. The contrast forces cognitive focus. Her brain favors novelty. Give it reasons to return to you by being interesting in presence and elusive in content. Be deliberate online. Social feeds shape perception. Post with intention. Show a life progressing, not a quest for validation. Small glimpses of competence and joy suggest independence. Do not weaponize social proof. Use it to reinforce that your life has width beyond messaging. Let questions linger. A question without immediate answer keeps attention longer than a long message. Brief, pointed words provoke thought. Long explanations end curiosity. Trim the narrative, let the gaps do the emotional work for you. Respond with measured clarity. When you open up, do it where it counts, in person, on a call, during time set aside. Reserve deep sharing for moments that matter. That creates a hierarchy of access. Texts are surface, presence is depth. Expect projection. She will attribute qualities to you she wishes existed. That's normal. Let it happen without exploiting it. Stay consistent enough for trust but scarce enough for imagination. Balance protects both truth and desire. Keep your life full. A private interior fuels public mystery. Purpose, friendships, progress. These supply real reasons for being less available. When your absence has substance behind it, curiosity feels legitimate. Substance beats smoke every time. Honor boundaries and consent. Mystery thrives only when both sides consent to the rhythm. If she shows distress, recalibrate. Attraction built on unease is fragile. Sustain wonder by keeping kindness intact. In the end, make space for her mind to work. The less you explain, the more she explains you. That internal storytelling is the engine of obsession. Let the silence be a canvas. Let her paint herself into you. This isn't about hiding. It's about offering a compelling absence that invites her to pursue what she values and remembers over time. She will probe your center to see if it's real. Tests come in small forms. Sudden silence, a throwaway mention of another man, a mood shift designed to watch your reaction. These are gauges, not traps. Treat them as information, not insults. When a trial arrives, stay grounded. Reacting emotionally hands her control. Composure hands her clarity. Hold your posture, steady your tone, and let your behavior answer the question she can't ask aloud. Demonstrate that your equilibrium is not conditional. Let your actions explain your values. Show up predictably where commitment matters and stay optional where novelty is expected. Reliability in important places and selective mystery elsewhere tells her what you protect. That combination signals maturity more than any speech ever could. Refuse to be baited. Attempts to provoke are tests of your interior. Laugh off cheap stabs. Counter with calm moves. Don't escalate, de-escalate. When she pushes, respond with presence, not panic. You teach boundaries by keeping them calmly in place. Use consistency as a quiet muscle. Let your everyday choices add up into a pattern she can trust. Training is invisible. The same small actions repeated create a reputation for steadiness. Over time, your predictability in essentials becomes the rarest asset she can rely on. Make consequences simple and humane. If a line is crossed, follow through without drama. Consequences are not punishment. They're the natural result of standards. Apply them without spectacle. The aim is correction, not shaming. Keep dignity in both your response and your restraint. Value tests as opportunities. Each challenge reveals alignment or mismatch. If someone cannot meet the rhythm you hold, that data is priceless. You save time and emotional energy by noticing quickly. Accept the clarity tests provide. It allows you to act from truth, not wishful thinking. Practice emotional containment by separating feeling from action. You may feel irritated, fearful, or hurt. That's information. Act from principle instead of impulse. Speak when the moment requires language and remain silent when it requires steadiness. That discipline builds trust. Don't confuse being steady with being cold. Presence can be kind and firm at once. Offer warmth that is not desperate. Offer attention that is not transactional. This balance shows you are neither brittle nor beholden. It makes your steadiness attractive rather than distant. Keep your inner life active. A person who stands for something is harder to unsettle. Pursue projects, friendships, and routines that ground you. Your external commitments give your boundaries context. They prove that your center existed before and will continue after any trial. Remember, passing tests is less about winning an argument and more about proving wholeness. The goal is to reveal whether a connection grows within mutual safety. When tests confirm safety, investment deepens. When they expose misalignment, you have the freedom to recalibrate or walk. Lead by example. Hold the rhythm you expect. Model calm responses, measured words, and consistent follow-through. People mirror what they see. If you embody steadiness, others will learn to meet it. That is how respect converts into something lasting. Be patient. True stability accumulates slowly, and small, consistent proofs of character compound into loyalty that lasts beyond fleeting attraction or manufactured drama. Be steady, measured. Build a life that would be worth choosing. Fill your days with projects, friendships, and disciplines that sharpen you. When your calendar has depth, people see that your attention is finite and therefore valuable. Purpose makes presence scarce and scarcity makes presence prized. Stop framing relationships as the main event of your identity. Make them optional additions to an already full life. When your happiness doesn't hinge on someone else, your presence becomes an offering, not a plea. That shift changes how others perceive you instantly. Prioritize growth over approval. Train a skill, start a side project, read widely, move your body. Progress is attractive because it signals forward motion. People want to attach to motion, not stagnation. Motion also gives you stories to tell and standards to live by. Hold standards like tools, not trophies. Decide what behavior you accept and what you don't. Protect your time, your integrity, and your energy. Those protections aren't walls. They're the framework that lets the right people enter. Standards broadcast seriousness, and seriousness is magnetic. Develop rituals that keep you centered. Morning routines, workouts, weekly check-ins, creative sessions. These practices anchor you. Anchors create calm. Calm creates confidence. Confidence is far more noticeable than a rehearsed line or a flashy gesture. Choose friends who elevate you. Surround yourself with people who push you to be better. Social circles shape habits and taste. When you inhabit a high-standard network, your choices and language change. Association upgrades perception more subtly than self-promotion ever could. Make decisions from scarcity of nothing and abundance of everything. Decide because you want it, not because you fear missing out. This kind of choice reads as sovereignty. It tells others you're not at the mercy of validation. Sovereignty is quiet and heavy, like someone who knows where they're going. Invest in your competence. Being skilled breeds self-respect. Self-respect becomes visible in posture, speech, and the way you allocate time. Competence also produces outcomes people can point to, which is far more convincing than a list of qualities you claim to have. Keep a clear mission. Whether it's career, craft, family, or a personal code, own it. A mission gives context to every decision you make. It explains why you're unavailable sometimes and why you show up fully other times. People respect someone who serves an objective larger than momentary whims. Learn to enjoy solitude. Solitude is the training ground for self-sufficiency. In quiet, you test ideas, confront weaknesses, and build resilience. The man who can be content alone is never desperate in company. He's composed, intentional, and therefore interesting. Be selective, not cynical. Choosing selectively isn't closing the door, it's using discernment. Say yes to things that align and no to things that dilute. That discernment keeps your life from scattering and your presence from being overused. Finally, radiate a calm sense of completion. Let others feel that you are already whole. That feeling is contagious. It draws people who aren't needy and repels those who are draining. Whole men don't chase, they attract. Become that man because the world rewards people who have built something real. This is the moment the game changes from pursuit to partnership. When she's already invested, your job shifts from provocation to preservation. Keep the energy that attracted her, but add the behaviors that anchor it. Turn sparks into structure without smothering the fire. Respond to devotion with measured reciprocity. Match the depth she shows with actions that prove steadiness. Small, consistent commitments beat grand gestures that vanish. Show up for the little things that add up. Calls you promised, plans you kept, follow through that builds trust. Introduce rituals that belong to both of you. Shared routines create safety. A weekly walk, a deliberate check-in, a certain way you celebrate small wins. Rituals turn fleeting effort into dependable patterns. Predictability here is a feature, not a flaw. It's the container for intimacy. Keep the mystery alive while increasing availability. Be present in the ways that matter. Eye contact, undivided attention, intentional listening. But don't leak your entire interior. Let depth emerge gradually. Let vulnerability be earned, not handed out on demand. Calibrate affection so it feels earned and real. When she reaches, receive her with warmth. When she withdraws, respect the space and avoid panic displays. The dance is not about withholding love. It's about offering it in proportion to mutual investment. Love that's given thoughtfully becomes treasured. Protect your standards as the relationship grows. Boundaries don't disappear because you care. They evolve. Update expectations with calm conversations. If trust is breached, address it with clarity and consequence, not dramatics. Consistent standards become the scaffolding for long-term respect. Make reliability your signature. Let your word equal your action. Reliability breeds safety faster than any promise. People fall in love with behavior that repeats. Be the kind of man whose presence is a reliable refuge, not an unpredictable event. Create escalation that feels natural. Increase time together, introduce deeper topics, expand trust by degrees. Rush nothing. Build on solid rungs. Each step should feel earned by both sides. Rapid acceleration invites collapse. Slow, mutual ascent builds resilience. Celebrate her growth as you pursue your own. Mutual development strengthens attachment. Be her champion without taking responsibility for her progress. Encourage independence and applaud maturity. Two progressing people make a more durable union than two dependent ones. Value communication that clarifies, not confuses. Speak plainly about needs and listen without agenda. Vulnerability is a currency. Spend it where it returns safety, not chaos. When you communicate from steadiness, your words land with authority and care. Keep external pressures low. Shield the relationship from gossip, comparisons, and social drama. A private alliance resists public interference. Protect intimacy by choosing discretion over spectacle. Let your bond be built in the quiet, not on display. Finally, remember that sustaining attraction is ongoing work, not a single victory. Maintain standards, reward effort, and preserve your inner life. The goal is not to trap desire but to transform it into mutual devotion. When two people choose one another consistently, chase becomes commitment, and that is where the real prize lives.